of these credit repair companies do not want to tell you the truth, but I'm here to tell you that credit repair is dead. On today's episode, I'm going to cover how credit repair is failing terribly for everyday consumers. Credit repair companies don't want you to know the truth of what's truly going on in the credit repair industry and how it's affecting millions of consumers, because if they tell you the truth, guess what? They're not going to make any money. So I'm going to make sure to cover these very important topics. What different types of credit repair are actually out there right now? Which ones actually can truly help you? And do attorney programs truly work? This is your first time to the channel, I want to let you know that I have in fact been in the credit repair industry for over a decade and a half. And as times have changed, we have actually shifted with those issues that are actually happening with the credit reporting agencies, with creditors, with debt collectors. You must shift and adjust. If you do not, then you're just stuck in a dinosaur world of credit repair. I have in fact used every single tactic ever created. And the problem that is happening more than anything right now is people are using template letters like they are not meant to be used. Because I've actually been in the industry for a very long time, I came from the template letter world, and I understood that you have to take the template letter and make it unique to your issue. You're not actually just supposed to fill it out and just send it off, because what's going to happen is you're going to send off that letter way too many times, and it's going to look exactly the same for every credit reporting agency, for every debt collector, for every creditor, and that is a huge problem. So now what we have is the credit repair industry has morphed into some crazy beast where a lot of companies are selling credit repair template letters. These massive companies are telling people you could start your own credit repair company and make thousands of dollars. And yes, it's actually true and in fact, but the software that they're using and the letters that they're using are only template letters. And what's happening, imagine this, you get 1 million users that are actually using that actual software. Now 1 million users are using that same template letter, sending it 1 million times, and now the credit repair, the credit reporting agency knows that this is not coming from a regular consumer. And to make things even worse, people are actually taking those template letters and selling them in courses, saying that they're their custom letters that they made, when in fact they got it from the credit repair software company. Now you have an even bigger problem. You have all these people that are using the credit repair software that are sending the same letters, and then you have the other consumers that bought that letter that are also sending the same letter, bombarding the credit reporting agencies, debt collectors, and creditors with the same exact damn letters. Nobody thinks that's gonna be a problem. But when a template letter is actually used properly and made custom and unique to your situation, then the template letter will actually work. But because it's being inundated with the same exact letter over and over again, it becomes ineffective. And all of this is creating an even bigger problem for regular consumers that have real issues. And what do I mean by real issues? Real issues being identity theft or mixed files, and they have actual real errors on their credit reports. Now what happens is the credit bureau doesn't believe anybody. The CFPB doesn't believe anybody, and neither do the creditors or debt collectors. Before we get into this super juicy sauce, I want to give you 3 very important tips to help you avoid getting scammed by any of these credit repair scammer companies out there. Number 1, never ever pay anybody upfront for any credit repair services. Anybody's asking you for a deposit or for full payment upfront, do not do any type of business with them. They are trying to scam you. And remember, this is for credit repair. When you are using a DIY software or some type of DIY credit program, guess what? That is not full service credit repair. We are referring to full service credit repair where you are paying someone directly to do the work for you. Remember, it is 100% illegal for anyone to accept payment up front for credit repair services. If they are asking you to pay them through Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, or PayPal, that is a huge red flag, and they are a scammer. They don't have a real legitimate credit repair company, and they don't have a real legitimate merchant services account where they can actually process payments. Stay away from them, very far away. Remember, the golden rule is you should never send money to anybody that you do not know. Number 2, nobody can guarantee you results, because nobody can tell you whether or not something can be deleted from your credit reports. Nobody controls the process of something being deleted or not being deleted except for the credit reporting agencies. So if someone tells you, yeah, I could delete that charge off that collection, they don't know. They are 100% lying and trying to scam you into believing they can actually do this, when in fact, there's nobody that can know that except for the credit reporting agencies. A lot of times these scammers will say, oh yeah, man, we got some people working inside at the credit reporting agencies at TransUnion TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, they can totally help us. They're lying, they're scammers. So when you hear these credit repair scammers out there saying, I could delete something in 30, 60, or 90 days, they're 100% lying. They're scammers. Number 3, never ever believe anyone that says that they can get your credit score to a certain point. Oh yeah, man, we'll get your credit score to a 750 in 90 days. They're full of it. They're lying. There is no way to tell where exactly you can get someone's credit score to. You actually have to put in a lot more work than just getting deletions to get your credit score to a certain point. It took me years to get to an 800. You think you're gonna get to an 800 in 60, 90, or even 30 days? That's just crazy. That is a huge red flag, and they are trying to scam you. And it is 100% illegal to tell anyone that you can get their credit score to a certain point, to a certain decimal point. You can say, oh yeah, I can get you to a 725 in 30 days. They're full of it. They're lying. And you'll usually hear them say, yeah, man, if I don't get your score to a certain point within 30, 60, 90 days, we're gonna give you a 100% money back guarantee. That company will be broke because it's impossible to hit those type of numbers consistently. It's not a real business model. They're just trying to make you believe that they can make these things happen, which is, again, 100% illegal. Now let's get into the 3 different types of disputing that you can use to potentially fix your credit. Number 1 is factual disputing. Factual disputing is a very easy and simple process. You can either use a template letter or you can create a custom letter just pinpointing the exact errors that you have found on your credit reports. You make a very simple letter, you send it out to the credit reporting agencies and the creditors and potentially the actual debt collector. And this process is in fact very effective if it's used properly, but the problem here that we're having now is people are using too many template letters and they've inundated the system, creating that problem that we talked about earlier. And because of this massive template letter issue that's going on right now, it has caused factual disputing to become even more ineffective. And the biggest problem with factual disputing is you are up against a machine. This machine is called eOscar. So every time you send in an actual letter to the credit reporting agency, it goes through eOscar, and then eOscar makes an actual Metro 2 code. And then that Metro 2 code is made into a form and placed on a form called an ACDV. ACDV stands for Automated Credit Dispute Verification. And what that ACDV form does is it just matches up a bunch of codes that are attached to your actual files at the credit reporting agencies, and it tries to match up with what the actual creditor or debt collector has on file also. Your name, your address, all of these things have codes that are attached to them. That's the Metro 2 code. And it also has identification codes for every single thing. So if your address matches the same as the one that the credit reporting agency has, they say, oh, guess what? It's verified, it's yours. Once the ACDV form is actually completed, it is sent to the creditor or debt collector or whoever the collection company may be, and it's their responsibility to report back in the Metro 2 code also. Now the creditor or the actual debt collector or collection company may send you a separate letter along with the actual letter that the credit reporting agency responded with. And usually it's gonna say something like, oh, we verified that this information is accurate, complete, and is yours. You're like, I never said it wasn't mine. I said there were errors. They don't even check those errors because guess what? They are verifying that the information matches whatever's in their database. They don't give a damn what your letter says the majority of the time. And unfortunately, they're gonna continue to respond with that same response saying this item was verified, it's complete, it's accurate, and it's yours, because the system is designed to speed up the process, just like what I said earlier. So they want to get you out of their hair as fast as they possibly can so they can move on to the next dispute. Because remember, they're getting thousands, sometimes millions of disputes every single day. Number 2 is Metro 2 compliance attacking. Everything on your credit report is structured in Metro 2 compliance format of reporting. This was created by the Consumer Data Industry Association. And the Consumer Data Industry Association was put together by board members of the CDIA, what I just talked about, and also board members of the credit reporting agency and big major lending banks and institutions. They decided that Metro 2 was going to be the format that they want everything to report and show that everything is accurate and complete. Last part's the most important. I believe that Metro 2 compliance attacking should be number 1, and it should be the number way to attack things because it is in fact the most powerful system to ever use, because you're using their system against them every single time you actually dispute and attack something. When you pull your credit reports, you just see a bunch of names, numbers, and a bunch of things that are on your credit report, but you don't actually see the Metro 2 coding behind everything, behind the scenes, and how it's actually truly reporting. And there are going to be people out there that say, oh, it really doesn't matter what you put on a dispute letter is a dispute letter. That's actually not true, because think about it. If you're just putting a bunch of mumbo jumbo on a piece of paper and sending it out, like, how's that going to be effective? If you attack using their system and showing Metro 2 that it doesn't meet their standards that they created, then they must delete it because it's not accurate and it's not complete. Now, our company helped create Dispute Beast, which uses Metro 2 compliance attacking. It looks at your credit report, finds all of the actual Metro 2 violations and errors, and it presents it to eOscar, showing it that it doesn't meet the standards of Metro 2 and it must be deleted, making it much more advanced than any other system out there. Because Metro 2 compliance reporting is the actual standard reporting format that they chose, then if something doesn't meet the actual standards of Metro 2 compliance reporting, it must be deleted. But even then, it still can create a slight problem, because think about it like this. You're sending this crazy letter with all these Metro 2 codings, and the system's like, there's no way that a human being sent this to us. Who's sending this for you? Did you hire a credit repair company? And that's where it comes into play. They'll send stall tactic letters, and our system continues to move forward no matter what they say or what they send, because it's going to attack based on any changes or no changes, which makes it much more advanced. So it doesn't matter. But when they send you a stall tactic letter, they keep sending it. They still have to do an actual investigation and actually do something about it. But they're going to send you a stall tactic letter stating that, oh, we're not going to do any investigation. It doesn't look like it came from you. But they are, in fact, because if they don't, then they can potentially get sued. And the problem with that is if you're not going to sue, what other legal recourse do you have? You don't have anything except for you continue to dispute and attack, which can end in the results that you want, or it may not potentially. And be aware, whether you use factual or you use Metro 2 actual attacking, there is no fast way in credit repair. There's no such thing as a smoking gun bullet. There's no such thing as, I'm gonna get my credit fixed in 30, 60, or 90 days. It doesn't work like that. It took you 6 months for an item to go into collections or to turn into a charge-off item. Why would you think you're gonna be able to fix your credit in 30 or 60 days? That's just beyond unrealistic. A very important key when you are using factual or Metro 2 disputing, whether you use my system or another, if you get a stall tactic letter, you must respond to it. Just send them a very simple letter stating, yeah, that was me. I sent you a letter. Here's proof of my identity, my driver's license, my actual utility bill. If you want, a copy of your actual social security card, and then get it notarized and then send it certified mail so they have proof that it's actually you and you're telling them that. A lot of these amateur credit repair companies don't want to actually address the issue because they're scared that, like, they don't know what's going to happen. Are they going to stop working with me? Like, what's going to happen? No, you have to address the issue. Of course, it doesn't stop them from sending another stall tactic letter. So what's your last option on the table? At the end of the day, there needs to be some type of legal recourse. So in the past 3 years of my life, I spent building something called a pre-litigation program. This is one of the most advanced programs I've ever created involving attorneys. Now, what we started doing is we actually started writing the letters on behalf of our clients, and then we would turn the file over to actual attorneys. We dealt with good attorneys, bad attorneys, so many really bad attorneys. Just want to put that out there so everyone knows that not every attorney is actually created equal, as they would love to make you believe that, but that's not the case. Because some attorneys will say, oh yeah, I don't like those letters, start over again, send some different letters. You're like, what? This is pretty basic. That's exactly what you need. No, I can't do anything, sorry. So what we decided to do is to team up with an actual legal team, an actual law firm, that we do not actually do any of the disputing. There's no credit repair in the process. What we do is we actually underwrite the file. We gather all the documents that we need for the legal team. We send it over to the legal team. Once the legal team approves the file, then the legal team takes over and they do the disputing. This is direct attorney disputing. No, it's not called credit repair. Understand that, because real legal teams will never ever want to actually say something was credit repair, because it's not. That's not what they're offering. They're going to look for those specific errors and any specific issues, and they want to capture every single violation they can get against the credit reporting agencies, against debt collectors, and against creditors. And let's say that you're in Texas, and the legal team is in New York, or you're in Florida, the legal team is in California, then guess what? The legal team will team up with a specific consumer law attorney in your state. So it's not a situation where they can only cover these certain states. And that's something that we learned in this process, that you can only actually file complaints and lawsuits in your specific state that they're actually on the actual board for. So it becomes ineffective if you don't have the right amount of actual consumer law attorneys across across the United States. So this is the best part about it. There are 0 legal fees that you are going to pay for when you go into the attorney program. They take over, they do all the disputing, and then you could potentially be entitled to thousands of dollars worth of damages because the legal team is actually doing all the disputing. If they send a stall tactic letter, guess what? They're gonna have to deal with attorneys. If they send a letter saying, "Oh, it doesn't look like this came from you, it came from someone else," guess what? It came from attorneys. This letter looks really suspicious. It looks like it came from a credit repair company. No, guess what? It came from attorneys, and now you have legal recourse. And there's a lot of confusion out there because we've talked about this program before and people are like, "Oh, but you're charging upfront for credit repair services." No, this is not credit repair. We are underwriting the file. My team needs to get paid to process all your documents and communicate back and forth with the legal team and then pass over the torch to the legal team. Once the legal team takes over, they take the actual profile, they take the file, and then they communicate with you. There's no credit repair involved in that. Our company does not do any disputing whatsoever. We don't even offer credit repair services anymore. And when you are working with attorneys, they don't want you applying for any credit. They don't want you seeking credit. You need to sit tight for at least a minimum of a year and let them do whatever they can and let them get to work. Because like I said earlier, if there is any possibility, you can be entitled to thousands of dollars worth of damages. That's crazy. And then you have 0 out-of-pocket attorney fees unless you're being sued by a debt collector or creditor, and then you need debt defense. That's the only time you should ever pay an attorney in our program is if you need debt defense because you are being sued. So out of all 3, which one do you think is the most powerful? Factual disputing, you're gonna have issues. Metro 2 compliance, very powerful, but you still can come across any issues and there's no legal recourse. But with attorney direct disputing, guess what? There's legal recourse and these attorneys can go after them and there's 0 out-of-pocket attorney fees for you. You're probably wondering, how is it there's no fees that are coming out of my pocket? Because they can take their fees out of whoever they're going to file complaints or actually sue. So they actually do get paid, but the way that they get paid is completely different because it's built that way so consumers don't actually have to pay anything out of pocket. And no, this is not Lexington law because there are actual credit repair companies out there that are saying that they actually have attorneys that are working with them, and in fact, they're actually not. And Lexington law was sued for billions of dollars for misleading consumers, and this is nothing like that. You are literally getting your files taken and moved over to an actual legal team. The legal team takes over and they begin to dispute, and then we are done. It's really that simple and that powerful, and it's a complete difference from all of these other scammer companies that are promoting that they actually have attorneys, but they actually don't. When you're actually being connected directly with an actual legal team in this specific program with our company. And as you can see, you are up against a lot. You're up against machines. You're up against these creditors, debt collectors. You want that legal recourse in your corner. So when it does turn the corner, guess what? You are coming out on top, and the credit reporting agencies, debt collectors, or creditors can't send you a bunch of nonsense and then you have nothing that you can do. This is why attorney disputing is one of the most powerful ways, and it is taking over the credit repair industry. But the problem that we're seeing is there are a lot of fake companies out there that are stating they're actually doing consumer law attorney disputing, but they're not. Like I said, we don't do any disputing, and that's how it should be structured, because you want the legal team to take over everything so they can cross all of their T's and dot all of their I's, and then they can actually have a case against a credit reporting agencies, a debt collector, or a creditor. So I hope you enjoyed this video. We covered a lot about how credit repair is dead, and the last 2 best options are Metro 2 compliance attacking and attorney disputing. Now we have both of those links are going to be in the description of this video, and they're going to also be pinned at the top of the comments for you. Now, if you have anything else that you want me to talk about, anything specific, drop it in the comment section because it's all about you, our community. We cannot do it without you. Make sure that you watch the next video because it is about Dispute Beast, the actual Metro 2 compliance attacking DIY program that we created. And if you felt that I brought you any value in this video, make sure that you don't forget and subscribe to increase your credit score.